Still working? How's my? Why is this bar here? Okay, maybe. So, okay. Oh no, it's okay.
What if I told you there's a secret fact?
Okay. Perfect. Hello everyone, welcome to Ask Jun the Groomer. It's 3 o'clock and a little technical difficulties with my computer, but we're on and looks like, oh wow, there's 3 people watching, okay. So what I was gonna do today is go through some questions that have been coming in through the YouTube comments, comments on the actual videos that I just haven't had time to get to because, oh my God, I used to, this is when I had like 5,000 subscribers, you know, like I used to stay up all night. I would just pick a night and just stay up all night and literally just, you know, reply to as many comments as I could possibly get to before I passed out. But I can't do that anymore because I just way too tired and I have a lot of, I actually have a lot of clients to groom for now. It's amazing. I'm actually booked. I'm going to SuperZoo next week. So I leave on Monday and I come back on Friday. I'll be in Las Vegas. So next week I won't be doing the Ask Jun the Groomer live just because I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be in Las Vegas. And so, so basically I need a script really. I needed this to be scripted. But anyways. The reason why I really can't get to the emails these days is because I have a lot of clients that I'm doing house calls for, and it's really I come home and I'm so tired. You know, I gotta spend time with my kids. I know they're all excuses, but I just figured this would be a great way to actually try to catch up on a lot of those comments. You know, so I'll get to as many as I can each hour every week, except for next week because I'm not gonna be here. I'm gonna be in Vegas. If I can, no, actually I have appointments. I'm interviewing. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. Oh, okay. Jun Liu. Hi, thank you. Triple Lotus. Oh, Triple Lotus. Hello. Okay, Nanny Ortiz. OMG, I was waiting for your live video, June. Oh my goodness. I hope I don't disappoint. Okay, but hey guys, thank you so much for joining. I would like to know if you guys have any questions about food and diet, because I mean, I don't know if you've heard about like raw food diets, you know, feeding your dog completely raw, feeding them like organs and some joint bones and hocks and stuff like that, and just, you know, completely raw. And that's like nature's diet, you know, and then there's also like these freeze-dried dog foods. So many different kinds, grain-free, you know, but how do you choose? How do you know which dog food is good for your dog, you know? And how do you know that just because you're paying, you know, a big price, you know, your dog is getting the best nutrition that it needs, you know? Because I learned from Michelle Knowles, she actually learned this from the nutritionist, the pet nutritionist that works there at the animal hospital, that byproducts are actually not bad. If you're talking about like chicken beaks and toenails, yeah. But if you're talking about organs, internal organs and intestines and things like that, they're not necessarily bad for dogs, because if you think about how, like dogs in the wild or wolves or lions, any predator animal, when they take down their prey, they go after the guts first. They go for the stomach and they eat that first. That's the good stuff. And then they eat the breast and the ribs and the legs, you know, everything that we like, you know. And I see these really expensive bags of dog food that say like choice steak cuts, you know, it shows a picture of like a T-bone. You know, what if that's not really what dogs really want? You know, I mean, of course they'll eat it, but what if what dogs, those parakeets, what if what dogs really want are the internal organs, like the kidney, the liver, the guts, you know? And that's where all the nutrition that they really need, the minerals and everything that they really crave, the body's craving, that's where they get it. But if there's no byproducts, you know, and it's just like chicken breast, 100% chicken breast, you know, is that really what our dogs need? So, you know, ask me if you had, you know, tell me your questions, and I want to write them down and actually ask them I'm going to be meeting some scientists that come up with the diets, and some of the top representatives for dog food companies. And so, yeah, I want to know, like, if you guys have any questions. Okay, let's see here. Triple Lotus, have fun in Vegas. Thank you so much. Cat for Animals. Oh my goodness, I know you, Cat for Animals. Hi, June. Raw food is best. Okay, dry and processed raw food, horrible. Okay, see. So there's this company that sent me some samples of freeze-dried dog food, freeze-dried beef livers, you know, like bison kidneys and stuff like that, and you know, just freeze-dried tuna and stuff like that. And you know, they say like pour some water on it and give it to your dogs, and you know, I don't know. Like my dogs, they liked it because it was different. But let's see. Joanna and Niece. Hi, hey, Joanna. Wonderful Land Fuentes. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you as a pet groomer? Okay. The worst thing that ever happened, I guess not the worst thing, but I don't know if you can see I got a line right here. I got a line right there. This is my second year into grooming. And I was still a bather at this point. And so I'm washing a dog, an old black Pomeranian, but you know, gray now. It's like black and gray because she's old. And she locks up while I'm force drying her with the high velocity air dryer. And that can spook a lot of dogs, you know? So she's old and she locks up and then she starts barking uncontrollably. And so I had just had Ava, my first daughter at this point. So, you know, I guess fatherly instincts kicked in. I wanted to cradle her and comfort her. So I cradled her. And when I held her up and cradled her, she turned and bit me right here. And it just sliced my lip, top and bottom, sliced it right open. Like, you know, like Robbie Lawler. I don't know if you guys are MMA fans, like mixed martial arts, but Robbie Lawler is about to fight Ty Woodley for the welterweight championship. But Robbie Lawler has a clip where his lip is just split open. He's like, rah, the interview. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, she split my lip open. And getting the stitches was actually scarier than the actual dog bite. The dog bite is just, you know, and I was like, oh, it's okay. And I put her back in a kennel. You know, I knew that I messed up. She didn't know that she was going to bite me like that. She was just freaking out. Okay, so that was that. Let's see here. Okay, have fun in Vegas. What's the word? Okay, it's a wonderful land, Fuentes. Thanks for the question. That's the worst thing that happened to me. I got bit right there. Bam, sliced me right open, and I had to get stitches. Crystal S. Hi, June. Hi, Crystal S. Juan Jun. Am I saying that wrong? Jianjun Liu. Jianjun Liu. Everybody is groomer? I don't know. I'm the groomer. Oh, that was kidding. But yeah, I think we have a lot of pet owners here too. Not everybody's a professional groomer, but we have a grooming enthusiast. You know, I'm sure everybody here is interested in grooming. That's why they're here. Triple Lotus, grain-free here, firm stools. Yeah, and see, that's what I like to use as my judge when I'm on the walk and I pick up my dog's poo. Is it easy to pick up? Is it firm? Does it feel good? Does it look nice? You know, and I know that's disgusting, but you know, I think dog people get it. We look at a dog's poo. You know, what are you gonna do? Maru 761122. Hello, June. Hello, Maru. Okay. The official RC Gaming. Hi, the official RC Gaming. Cat for Animals. Okay. Okay. They do want to eat the organs raw. Okay. All right. Cat for Animals is definitely all for raw food. Completely raw diet, I believe, right? And I met some people up in Utah. They actually raise bunnies and stuff and kill the bunnies and feed it to their dogs raw. That's hardcore. I mean, that's dedication. The official RC Gaming. What is your favorite video you made? Oh man, I don't know. I have fun with them all. Like, you know what I'm thinking? I actually asked my wife. I was like, "You think this is too much? I want to make a cover. I want to make a music video, like a cover to the music video. The song is called Being Kind." And it's like, kindness is all we can leave behind. Anyways, Nemo Patel. The album is called Empty Hands, and the song is called Being Kind. It's an amazing song. I love it. I was thinking about actually making a music video out in Vegas, just like different scenes and me like rapping, mouthing into it, making music video. I don't know. I mean, I just do all this stuff because it's fun. But yeah, my favorite. I don't know if I have a favorite. Oh, you know what? I would say the Harley video, the one with the Yorkie, the aggressive Yorkie Harley. That was pretty good, right? I mean, because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I was gonna actually be able to pull off a good groom, and I did. Whoa! I caught it on film. Also, the two Shih Tzus, the two rescue Shih Tzus, the black Shih Tzus. They came in sister. They look like octopus. They looked like they had like 8 legs or something because all these matted dreads were coming all over their body. It was disgusting. But doing that was really rewarding. And just, the whole time I was like, I hope they don't bite me. I hope they're, because you never know underneath all of that, But they were such sweethearts. It was so rewarding to be able to help them. So there's a lot of videos where I made that I had a lot of fun while I was shooting it. While we were shooting it, I had a lot of fun editing it. There's a lot of stuff that never make the YouTube videos because, sometimes the stuff I say is just, it's funny to me, but my wife and everybody else is like, no. I used to say people don't have a sense of humor. Then I realized I'm just not that funny. All right. Judith, Melina, wait, what? Okay, wait, what? I just got here. Okay, Judith, we're just, I think we're just, kind of talking right now. And then there's a question actually from 4 months ago that I wanted to get to. I want to know, how do you control the dogs when you're grooming them? With my mind. And and I know that sounds silly, but seriously, last week, I think it was last week, or I think it was a week before. But anyways, when I interviewed Dr. Douglas Green, and Dr. Chris Blazina, I mean, both of them really confirmed that these dogs, they literally sense how we're feeling. And Dr. Green even pointed out they can smell our emotions. So they're actually mapping human emotions by scent using dogs. And because dogs can smell the differences in the hormone levels and everything, they literally can smell how we're feeling emotionally. So seriously, I use my mind. I visualize. I met a 13-year-old girl today. She's, into soccer. Soccer is her passion, and she was invited to, go to the Olympic soccer camps and everything. But anyways, I pointed out to her even, and she agreed. Like soccer, there's a lot of visualization. You got to see the ball going into the goal and see how it's going to go into the goal before you actually kick it. It's a lot about visualization. See the dog behaving the way you want it to behave, and trust that the dog can feel your true intentions, that you want to just help, that you want to be compassionate, and the dog can literally feel that, and you pretty much make it happen. And that's why I say groomers, we're creators. We create the situation and the results that we want. Literally, we create it with our hands. Using some grooming tools as well. Okay, cat for animals. Have you heard of Dr. Yin? If so, what do you think and how do you feel about her techniques? Good to see you doing these. I've never been to SuperZoo. Happy for you. Oh, Dr. Yin, I've seen some of her. I think she's that doctor that does like really gentle, like how to comb your dog and like clip your dog's nails. I think is a popular one, right? Yeah, I think she's awesome, and she's a doctor on top of that, and I love that. I think. I don't really follow. I saw like a couple of her videos, but yeah, I like her. I don't really have any any good, I guess, or strong like good or bad opinions about Dr. Yin. She's my cousin actually, so I can't talk. I was kidding. We're not related. Crystal S, can you please give us some tips on keeping fleas away? Advantix doesn't seem to be working, and I really hate using these harsh chemicals on my dogs anyway. I've been using a spray. I think it's called Home Safe or something, and it's like peppermint oil, like it's mint oil. Has like clove oils and extracts and stuff like all natural oils. And that seems to be working really well. Like it seems to like really kill pretty immediately. And but you just have to stay on top. I got to do it every day, because it's an all natural thing. So I spray them with that, I spray them all down. I see some fleas here and there because every day they're going outside. They're going out. We're taking walks in the forest. So, every day they're going to attract more fleas. And so I spray them down, and then diatomaceous earth. It's a white powder. If you get it at the pet specialty stores, the diatomaceous earth powder, I think it's like $25 for a little can, and it's pretty expensive. I know, I bought it. But when you go to Lowe's and you go to like the insect repellent section, it's a 4-pound bag and you can get it for $8. And it's been lasting me, oh my goodness. And I use it liberally. I just like cake it all over, it's like a Al Pacino movie or something. I was just kidding. But white powder everywhere, just, all over, and just dust it and brush it into their coat. And that seems to kill and repel, keep all the flea problems at bay. But if I miss a day, I notice when I go out there, like, there's fleas, so, and I can tell that they're itching. So it's something that you gotta stay on top of, or, I'm literally looking into like Frontline and things like that. I mean, because, it's more convenient, right? Rather than go out there every day and brush it into their coat, just put that stuff on them and just be done with it, right? For a month. So, Crystal, I'm still working on it, but the way I do it is I use the spray that has like, I hear rosemary extract is really good. Rosemary helps kill and repel insects. But I think it's the mint and the clover oil that really is like what does the killing. And I spray that and I dust diatomaceous earth powder on them. The roof is stream over. No, we're still going. We're just. I still got to get to the question. I'm just like trying to say hi to everybody. That's okay. Buck Carrie M. But Charlie Bugs mom here. Okay, I enjoyed learning so much from you. Thank you, Charlie Bugs mom. Oh my goodness. Okay. Ouch. The palm lip scar. That's the Medal of Honor now. Oh, nice. Thank you, Triple Lotus. Yeah, what happened to the live stream? Yeah, we're streaming live right now, Judith Molina. I think, is it? I mean, there might be a little bit of a lag. There might be like, I'm not sure. Buck Carrie M, you've taught me how to turn grooming time into a labor of love. Thank you. Oh, yes. Rather than looking at it as oh man, it's something this is like something you dread, or maybe even something like, oh my goodness, my dog doesn't like this, like I don't like that they don't like it. They bite, things like that. Rather than it being something like that causes anxiety, grooming time can really be something that turns into like a very intimate time where you're actually physically showing them by removing hairs that are making them feel uncomfortable behind the ear, by taking care of them. It really strengthens that bond. So it's that intimacy, that bond building time. Hi, girls. Are you gonna say hi?
Well, on an Elsa necklace.
You know what? Never mind. I lost it. I'm not lost anymore. Okay. Perfect, Judith.
Yours?
Nanny Ortiz. Hi, June. Hi, Nanny. All right. It says raw food. Oh, bye, girls. Have fun at piano. Nanny Ortiz, raw food is good for dogs. Yeah. Apparently, I think raw. And I guess the argument is if they were out in the wild, they would be eating raw. And that's what nature intended. So, but I don't know. Like, if we are gonna go raw, like, how do you go about it? And, do you go to like a local farmer or local butcher or something and get like the organs, or I don't know. Let's see, Wonderland Fuentes. I have a Chihuahua and she's 3 years old and I haven't groomed her before. And I've wanted to take her to get groomed, but I'm afraid that she'll be really scared. See, Wonderful Land, that Fuentes, that's kind of like, okay, I don't want to take her because I'm afraid she might be scared. So I'm never going to take her. So she'll always be scared. Like, you'll never, if you have a child that has some social problems, you know, some issues with other kids and everything, best not to keep them in a room by themselves. You know, it's my opinion. In my opinion, I would take if my kid was having trouble with other kids, maybe not able to social, you know, not able to communicate or open up, just they shut down emotionally and they don't, you know, I would send them to band camp or summer camp, you know, and things like that. I would encourage them to go out there and, you know, so they have more experiences and opportunities to try to overcome these things, you know, rather than always harbor that fear. So, you know, and for a Chihuahua not to be groomed, that kind of means the Chihuahua is not getting brushed, and it really needs to be brushed. More so than being washed. You can actually get away with never washing a Chihuahua. As long as you brush them regularly, those dead hairs that you're brushing out, they're constantly being brushed out so that new hairs are always growing in, and so they'll always have a fresh, clean coat. And so, and the fresh, clean coat, the new hairs, the oils will repel off, like dust and debris, oils, you know, like bacteria, mud even. So it repels all of that off, keeping the Chihuahua cleaner. So you can actually get away with never washing your Chihuahua. Just brush them regularly. And if your Chihuahua, if you're scared to do it, just get wet your hands first. Get your hands wet, and with your wet hands, just gently pet your Chihuahua and rub its ears. And you'll notice that with your wet hands, all this dead hair and dander is going to be coming out onto your hands. So you just run your hands through your Chihuahua like that, and that'll get them used to it. Also clearing out the skin of all that dander that's coming off on your hands. And do that first. And then once he gets used to that, you know, then you can maybe change it with like a gentle slicker brush or a rubber curry brush, like a Kong brush, and, you know, do it in massaging motions. So it becomes something that they look forward to, that they like doing, or they like having you do to them. And it becomes something that they look forward to. You do it, and while you're doing this and you're caressing your dog, oxytocin levels go up, blood pressure goes down. It's very therapeutic, you know, for both you and the dog. So Wonderland, I would really suggest, you know, brushing your dog regularly, and that's about as much grooming as your Chihuahua would really need. Should I worry? Yes. It's kind of like saying, Wonderland, I never brushed my daughter's teeth. She's just so scared. She's just so scared, and she just doesn't want me to brush her teeth, and she acts like, oh, she's choking, and I just can't do it. You know, no. Brush her teeth. You know, like, should I be worried? Should I be worried that I don't brush my daughter's teeth? Of course you should be worried. You know, your daughter's teeth is gonna rot. You know, like, so yeah. If you're not brushing your Chihuahua, yeah, you should be worried. You know, and I'm sorry if I come across that way, like I'm talking down about it or something, you know, or making fun of the situation. But really think about it. It's kind of similar to that. You know, like to have a dog. The kind of the responsibility as a family member, you know, as a part of the pack, is to help groom them, because that's what a pack would do. If your Chihuahua was with other Chihuahuas and they were in a natural pack environment, other Chihuahuas that the ones that, you know, had the closest bond, the closest relationship together, they would help groom each other. They would be licking each other's ears and, you know, kind of chewing the excess hair off. You know, they do this for each other. So that's kind of the responsibility that we have as being this dog's family member. Okay, so I'll stop preaching. Alan Powell is in the house. Okay. Let me see here. Sorry, like as the new comments come in, I gotta scroll up. Peppermint oil on a bandana. Alan Powell for fleas. Peppermint oil on a bandana. That's an idea. Regarding diet, I've been cooking. Okay, so this is from Crystal S. Regarding diet, I've been cooking homemade meals for my dog at least a couple months now. How do I know he's getting the proper nutrition for his activity level, weight, etc.? Tips, recipes. Exactly. So, Crystal, I've had a lot of people tell me, because I I have a lot of clients that actually cook like chicken breast and vegetables and stuff for their dogs. And I don't know, I've mentioned it to other nutritionists, and nutritionists were saying like, you're really taking a gamble because, you know, we didn't study that, you know, like we don't really know. So they're saying, you know, like really it's sometimes better to go with like just a better brand of dog food, because they actually have paid scientists that, you know, that study this stuff and what a dog needs and things like that. So yeah, I have no tips, but I will ask, you know, if you're, you know, the people that I meet, wherever it's relevant, I'll ask them, you know, for people who are cooking homemade meals for their dogs, like, how do they know? How do they judge, like, what to put in their dog, what to put in the food, what to cook? Great question, Crystal. Cat for animals. Yep, all raw, all the time. Poop is less, not ever smelly, and actually kind of powdery. Okay. If you step on it, it just disintegrates because such more nutrients absorbed within the body. Okay. All right. So maybe cat for animals. So if let's just say I wanted to go completely raw, like how, like, you know, where do I go to get the raw food, and how much do how do I know how much of what to give them? You know, like how does one judge? Crystal S, thanks for answering the flea question. Took a bunch of notes. Awesome. Perfect. Alan Powell, do you blow out husky and shepherd coats before the pre-brush? I've had great results blowing the dirt and dead hair off before pre-brushing as opposed to jumping straight in with the brushes. Yeah, I actually do. When it's like really thick, especially like, what is it? So, a Samoyed. I have a big Samoyed named Charlie. And Charlie, that thick cottony undercoat, you know, that white thick coat. But yeah, I've noticed if you force dry that out, blow it out first, you know, and wear a mask. I ran out of masks, those disposable masks. I haven't been wearing a mask these days, so, man. But you know, it's good to wear a mask, especially when all that stuff is just blowing all over the place. Nanny Ortiz, the Derm Magic Hotspot salve worked on my dog's skin. Thank you, June. Wow, that's perfect. You know, when I meet Dr. Adelia at SuperZoo, I'll mention that. Nanny Ortiz. I'm gonna write that. Nanny Ortiz, perfect. And you used the Derm Magic hotspot salve and it worked on your dog's hotspots. Perfect. See, and that's exactly why I recommend it to people, because you know, like I personally had it work. I had a sample bottle of it, and everybody that I recommended to have told me the same thing. So you know, yeah, I don't have to get paid by them to recommend it. If it works, it works. What other reason do you need? Alan Powell, how many dogs have you experienced that are absolutely terrified of the groom? I've never had such a huge problem myself. I've personally, let's see, there was one in Arizona. Well, no, there was one in Chandler, and then in Tempe. Then there's a couple in Utah, and there's Sunshine here. So 5 in my total experience. 5. Oh no, there's a Great Pyrenees named Murphy, so 6. So in my experience, about 6 dogs. But you know, that's compared to like hundreds. And the cool thing is, I guess it's not really a good thing that I jumped around so much. But I'm back, Atlanta. Atlanta, I back. Like Anderson Silva. Anyway, Anderson Silva, he is just not, man, I still love you, Anderson. You're awesome. Anyways, yeah, but I literally got to see hundreds of different dogs, you know, everywhere I went, because everywhere I go, these are different dogs with different skin cases coming in. So I had a pretty unique, you know, opportunity, I guess, to really see a lot of different dogs and get my hands on almost probably thousands of dogs by now, thousands of different dogs. And I think that hands-on experience with each and every dog, like really being focused and being in the moment and looking down at the skin and, you know, like questioning everything that I'm doing, you know, I think that's priceless experience, you know. Let's see, cat for animals. For now, it's easy just to get commercially prepared pet raw foods for dogs and cats. Okay, at a specialty store. Okay, so I've seen some at Unleashed by Petco. in Chambly Dunwoody Road in Dunwoody. And also there's a location in Decula. But yeah, pet specialty stores. So Cat for Animals is saying Primal, Stella and Chewy's, frozen raw food, thaw before serving. Okay. Let's see. Maru76122, thank you. Oh, hold on. Okay. Buck Carrie M. You mentioned being busy with life and family. Never apologize for that. Your family comes first. We're your fans. Oh my God. Like, seriously? I got fans? Like, we're your fans. Should understand. But thank you so much when you do find time to post for us. Thank you, Buck. Seriously. Wow. RO76122. Thank you, June. I'll take your advice. Try to with my mind. Control the dogs. Okay. And I know it sounds silly, but I talk about it in my book, The Art of Grooming, but I call it Jedi grooming because literally it's like Jedi mind tricks almost, you know, like you will be calm, you know, like, but it's like kind of like pushing that intention, pushing that thought into their head. Like, you're going to be good. You're going to be so good. Like, you're going to feel so good after this. I love you. Thank you. And I even say it to the dogs. I tell them, like, you know, like today, I was like, thank you so much, Jersey. I love you, Jersey. You know, because they did an experiment. A Japanese scientist, they collected water from the river and they put words on it, like love, thank you, you know, things like that. Grateful. They put all these positive words on the water bottles. They froze it and they looked at it and it was beautiful. It had beautiful, like star-like, crystal-like, like snowflake-like designs, okay? Nice patterns. Then they had other bottles where they put nasty words like I hate you, disgusting, stupid, things like that. And they froze it and they looked at it and it looked like blobs. It looked nasty. And so literally the words, the energy that it carried had an effect, a physical effect on the water. So you know, the words that we say to the dog, the intentions that we have towards them while we're working on them, it's like Jedi mind tricks. It's called Jedi grooming. Okay. Cat Ferrano, no need to comment. Just FYI, Dr. Yin is a vet and trainer, clicker treat training, very compassionate, gentle handling techniques, very different than Caesar. Yeah. I noticed that, and I you know, I do like that. I like both sides, and I feel like both sides have good, you know, good stuff to offer. Everybody knows I'm crazy about Caesar Milan. I love Caesar, but you know, even Caesar says my way is not the only way. You know, like he acknowledges that. So, you know, who is it? Casey Cover. Casey Cover has like name and explain and synergetic techniques and things like that, you know, but very gentle approaches. And, you know, I think that everything is needed sometimes, especially in grooming, because when a dog is in a really, you know, like a crazy state and it's on the grooming table and things are being done and it needs to kind of be done, like ears being plucked out of the ears because it's got like a nasty stuff, you know, all inside there, and we're trying to clean it out, you know, and it's just, you know, freaking out. You know, clicker and treats don't work in that situation, you know. So in those situations, like, I like to think of what are other gentle, creative approaches where we can help the dog understand that this is actually going to help you, you know. And I don't think that there's a clear-cut way. I don't think there's a cookie-cut recipe for how to approach that, because every dog is different, you know. So I'm not, you know, I don't ever want anyone to think that I'm only for Caesar Milan, you know, and that's the only way that's right, and everybody else I think is wrong, you know. That's I was really thinking about it. When I want people to remember about me, when people, you know, look back and, you know, like maybe 50, 60 years from now, you know, and I'm long gone, what I want people to say about me is, you know, that guy Jun he was very understanding. You know, he was very accepting of others, you know. I don't want people to say, you know, that guy Jun, he was always right. You know, so I would rather be understanding and accepting rather than, you know, always try to look for the right way, you know. Molly 2016, homemade meals lack necessary oils and fats dogs need. My sibling always feeds his dogs homemade food and their fur is dry and dull. Okay, so that's a good point. That was Molly 2016. So yeah, I mean, unless we're educated in that, and we know. So you're adding like fish oils and like maybe some coconut oil, or I don't know. Maybe but if it's like me, if I don't know, I'd rather not risk it. Ruth Olson. Hey Ruth. Oh my goodness, she's actually here at Sewanee. She's like in their neighborhood. Did the Derm Magic prevent him from chewing more hot spots? My dog has 3 now and working on number 4 as we speak. Oh my goodness. Ruth, come on now. You can walk to my house. But yeah, Ruth, the Derm Magic will help. If you want some, I actually ran out of the conditioning bars. I got a couple of the shampoo strip samples left. But I can. And Banix works, but yeah, I mean, I'll definitely take a look at your dog at least and tell you what to order, yeah. Message me, Ruth. Nanny Ortiz, that cat food is good. That cat food is good for dogs. No, Nanny, cat food is not good for dogs. And I know dogs love cat poop for some reason. I think it's the high protein content. The dogs love that, but no, a cat diet is very different than a dog's diet. So yeah, I would not suggest, and I don't know, I'm not an expert, but even with my basic knowledge, I would say, don't feed your dog cat food. Alan Powell, too high in protein and not correct in fat to oil ratios. These are not the behaviors I am looking for. Jedi, exactly, Alan Powell. These are not the behaviors I'm looking for. Nanny Ortiz, Ruth Olson, try it. It is good. Yes, it is. Okay, Cat Friend, love your way with animals. Sometimes I need to remind myself it's not about me. It's about the pet I'm grooming. It's about their special spots. And that's exactly right. Because they don't know that they're on a schedule. They don't know that they're on a timeline. For them, this is supposed to be special time, and it's being rushed, so that's kind of how I feel about it. Nanny Ortiz, June, do you groom cats too? I do not, because I don't feel that connection with cats. I don't understand cats. Cats are very different. And here's the thing, even grooming, the way that cats and dogs view grooming is very different. So with dogs, the alpha dog, whether it's a female or male, will sit, and the other submissive, the other dogs in the pack will come and kind of lick the muzzle, and like almost suck up, and like groom and, clean its ears and things like that. And, the groom, the alpha male, like alpha male or female will, just stand and be groomed, With cats, it's different. The alpha cat, whether it's male or female, whoever's in charge, will usually groom the cats that are under them, the rest of the pack, and take a submissive posture over the cat and groom the more submissive cats. And the other cats are not allowed to groom the alpha cat. The alpha cat groomed himself. So even the way that cats and dogs view grooming is different. So, like I said, I'm not crazy about grooming. Grooming is not what I'm crazy about. It's dogs. I'm crazy about the dogs. And I groom them because grooming that's where I get my kicks. It just has a creative outlet for me. I love doing the haircuts. I love styling. I love, carting the dogs out and sculpting them. And I love working with them. I love the whole behavior. I love the reward in it afterwards. Like grooming dogs is really what I'm about. I don't want to groom cats. I don't want to groom hamsters, gerbils, nothing else, just dogs. I don't even groom myself. So obviously grooming is not my passion. I love grooming, but it's really dogs. Dogs are my passion. Okay, so Alan Powell, wolves never had cooked meals, so their digestive system isn't developed to deal with the complex micro changes that occur to most foods when exposed to cooking temperatures. Alan, you watch like Good Eats or something, you know, with that guy, with that dirty guy. Anyways, that's a very scientific answer, but I would have to agree, right? I mean, because food does undergo chemical changes, like real chemical changes when you sear it, when you bake it, you know, when you steam it, and you know, when you boil it. And I mean, it literally breaks down those proteins and everything, you know, like and it goes through these complex micro changes, you know, due to the high temperatures. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if home cooked meals are really that great of. And here's the thing, I tried. I forget the name of it, but it was like freeze dried dog food, but that came in like a powdered form almost. It almost looked like potato flakes, you know, when you buy like instant potatoes in the box, and you know, but it had like freeze dried stuff in it, freeze dried like meat nuggets and like vegetables and stuff like that. And when you put warm water in it, when you put warm water in it and you mix it up, kind of has like a oatmeal like texture to it, like oatmeal with some stuff in it. I didn't like it. I don't think my dogs ate it up, but their poo, you know, was just so hard to pick up. It was just mushy, you know. So I don't know. And it was like home cooked. It was like home cooked ingredients and recipes. Yeah, I don't know. So you bring up a really good point, Alan. Nanny Ortiz, avocado oil shampoo are good for hot spots too. More than the shampoo, I'd say conditioner. So the shampoo is going to open up that hair, the skin. It's going to open up hair fibers, and that opens up. That's an open invitation for bacteria and fungus to just move in, so causing the hot spot to actually get worse. So more than the avocado oil shampoo, I would say avocado oil conditioner would be helpful for the hot spots. And the conditioner is going to seal everything in, and the oils from the conditioner is going to repel off, you know, any foreign bacteria and yeast and things like that. I have Benix. He licks it right off and commences chewing. Well then, Ruth, it may be more like you may want to get something like this. And this is a fine tooth stripping knife. I don't know if you can see that. But what you want to do is use this like against the dog's skin where the hot spots are, and kind of use it to kind of grip anything, or even something like this, you know, and just kind of clear out. It's probably just stuff that's packed inside the skin so much that he's constantly trying to lick and chew out, and then that's causing it to get more raw. So maybe just by going in there to kind of do like a deep exfoliation, or you might want to try Madra More Mud. Madra More Mud, MADRO MORMUD. So Madra More Mud. They make a mud bath for dogs, and they have like that hot spot one. So you know, the one that helps for hot spots. You may want to try that, you know, because that mud is going to help exfoliate that skin and you know, pull out all that toxins and things like that that's inside the skin. Triple Lotus. Yes, I agree. Every dog is different regarding training and treats. My 8-year-old puppy mill survivor, male Yorkie, was so scared of the clicker. Yeah. Cat for Animals 00. You are compassionate. I agree. There are many ways and techniques. Oh, yes, yes. Nanny Ortiz. I want you to groom my Pomeranian, June. I would love to groom your Pomeranian. And I'll cradle it. Have him butt my other side. Boo. I'm just kidding. Okay. I think we're catching up here. Buck Carey. Please let me know if you ever come to Canada. I would love to go. My mom was actually just in Canada just last month, and she loved it. Triple Lotus. My cat tears me up when I try to groom him. Not fun. The dogs enjoy being brushed out, and one even whines and begs when I'm working on one of the other dogs. Triple Lotus, you're right. And dogs, what I've noticed is that even when you get like a kind of a feisty dog, they usually try to bite the instrument. Like if I'm clipping the nails and the dog doesn't like that, the dog usually tries to bite the nail clippers, you know, or sometimes my hands, you know, just to get me to stop. A cat, I've noticed. I work with some cat groomers. When a cat loses it, it doesn't go for the nail clippers. It goes for your eyes, man. It goes for your jugulars. It goes for the kill, you know? That cat is like, you know? Cats don't play around, man. I don't mess with them. Veronica, oh, missed it. Okay. Veronica Smith. Rapacia is like that. Alan Powell, would you groom a wolf or a wolf hybrid? I don't know, man. See, because wolves, they kind of don't want anything to do with us, right, Alan? Like, that's why there's something so special about a dog. Like, they actually want to be with us. They want to cooperate and, you know, they want to please us. I mean, that's so special. You know, I don't know. I mean, unless I found like a wolf-like dog, a wolf that behaved like a dog, I don't foresee myself ever grooming a wolf, you know, in the near future. Kirsty Hutchinson. I have a miniature Schnauzer that is constantly scratching. What can I use to help her skin? Miniature Schnauzer constantly scratching, that's usually due to a lack of hand stripping. Most dogs benefit from hand stripping. Terriers need it. Like most terriers, Schnauzers, Airedales especially, Scotties, they really need hand stripping. So what you want to do is you want to get a hand stripping knife, something like this or like this, and they come in different you know, sizes. So this is going to be like a coarse stripping knife. This is a fine stripping knife right here. And you want to get these and literally grip the hairs, grip the dead hair like that, and pull. And so let's say the dog is facing this way, the head is this way, you want to pull this way. You know, you want to pull with the grain. And by pulling out those old hairs, you're releasing them out of those pores and you're clearing up those follicles. You know, and so these bumps and all this tight, you know, stuff inside the skin that's making the skin feel so tight, once it's released out, and when you pull it out, you'll see white flakes, you'll see dander, you'll see all this crud coming out of the skin, literally, along with like bunches and bundles of this fuzzy dead hair. And when you do that, and your dog will not itch again because there's no reason to itch anymore. So, Christy Hutchinson. Oh man, I wish I could really like show you on your dog, because it really kind of takes that, like seeing someone do it, and you know, but maybe you can find somebody in your area that's like that specializes in hand stripping and see what they would charge for you to, you know, like watch them do it on your dog or maybe another dog and kind of teach you how to hand strip your dog, because that would, if you hand strip your Schnauzer, not only will the coat look beautiful and they'll always look, you know, bright, bold, shiny, you won't have any skin issues. All the seasonal allergies, those bumps, itchiness, hot spots, they'll all go away. Cat for animals. I haven't had luck with the dehydrated dog food. Best to buy the commercially prepared frozen raw. Okay. Plus dehydrated raw is more costly to feed. Frozen raw, they need less of it. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Cat for Animals. Seriously, wow, this is a lot of good information. Alan Powell. I had to get rid of my stripping knife. People kept sticking dollar bills. Hand stripping. So you get a sexy glove and you slowly strip it right off your hand. That's hand stripping right there, baby. LOL. Pink Star 7896. Hello, Pink Star. Instead of using hand stripper, would a Furminator brush work the same, you think? Kind of. It kind of does. But before you do the Furminator, if you're not going to use a hand stripping knife, I would say like chalk your fingertips, or maybe get rubber gloves, like rubber fingertips, and use that to kind of get a lot of that bulk out, or even slicker, you know. But the Furminator is better used as more like a finishing tool. And just like if you're painting a wall, you know, you wouldn't use the edger to paint the entire wall. You know, you use the edger to kind of finish and, you know, paint the edges. Same thing with the Furminator. It's more of a finishing tool. So after you've gotten all the bulk out, then you use the Furminator to kind of smooth everything out. Christy Hutchinson. Wow, thank you, by the way. I absolutely love your down-to-earthness. I will definitely try the hand stripping. Maybe find some tutorials. You're the best. Wow, thank you so much, Kirsty. Cat for Animals, sure, thank you. Wow, okay, so I think we're all cut up. So I'm gonna go to the question that I've been meaning to get to, which is, By Angela Moore. This is 4 months ago. Angela wrote this on how to comb out mats and tangles video. Says, hold on, let me clear my throat here. Wow, that is delicious, by the way. Oh my goodness, that's Sam Adams. Sam Adams Nitro IPA. Oh my goodness, that's so sweet. Anyways, Angela Moore. Hi, Jun. I've only just found your videos today. I love them. I admire your talent and your patience. I have a question if you don't mind, please. I have a Shih Tzu with a serious cowlick that runs down the center of the top of her head. Do you have any advice on how to best approach and deal with this cowlick? I've tried curved scissors and thinning shears. I have best luck with the thinning shears, and I'm able to blend it enough, and she looks okay. When I look her straight in the eye, but when I look down at the top of her head, it looks like she's been styled with a mix master. Please help. So this question is, I think, a question that actually will help a lot of people. So what's going on is, let me see if I can find, there it is. What's going on is when you're washing your dog, the water, make sure that it's spraying down on the hair and spray it in the direction, like here, if you want to go straight, spray it this way, spray it that way in the back, and constantly spray the water in the direction that you want it to lay, you want the hair to lay. Don't use this round motion. That's going to cause swirls in your dog. Okay, and that's what causes the whips and the waves. Also, when you're drying, if you're using a force dryer or even a blow dryer, don't use that motion, because that circular motion that we all tend to do causes that circular whips and cowlicks in your dog's hair. So always dry, hold it straight. If you are going to move it, move it more in straight lines, but constantly you're trying to lay the coat down. You're trying to lay it and train the hair. Just like we train our hair, we can train a brand new part in our hair. I can literally make my hair part from here if I wanted to, just by training it every day, So I would just, when I shampoo, when I condition, when I dry my hair, I would always just do that. And, I would literally train my hair to part right there. That looks kind of, anyways. But yeah, so we're training the hair. So when you're drying that way. And also, let's just say that the cowlick is it's just set in there. If you're using the thinning shears to thin out the cowlick, I mean, it's bending at the follicle, at the root, at the base of the skin. That's where it's the hair is bending. So since you're not fixing that, you're just trimming it over, it's going to constantly grow with that bend. So I would say to spray, mist, some coat conditioner. You can even mix a conditioner that you're using already. Just put a little bit of the dog conditioner that you have, just a little bit on the bottom of a spray bottle. Fill the rest up with water, shake it up, spray it on your dog's head. So you spray it, and then you would use something like this, or if you don't have a stripping knife, a metal comb would do. Use the fine side, and you would, just comb it the way you want it to lay. Or you could use a face comb, something like this, and that's even finer. So that would really, and then you would just constantly do that. And just repeat that, and maybe after a few days of doing that, all of a sudden you'll notice the hair will lay nicely, and it'll lay wherever you part it, wherever you want it to. You just constantly reinforce that hair. You're training it. You're training the hair to lay flat. So everything we're doing in the groom, when I brush the dog before the bath, I'm always brushing in those angles, and I'm trying to get the hair to lay nicely. When I'm spraying the water, spraying it that way. When I'm lathering the shampoo, I'm going in those angles. I'm laying the hair back down nicely. I'm not just scrubbing the shampoo in, because when you scrub the shampoo in, you're tailing the hair, just whip around. So rather than scrub, because it's not our hands scrubbing that's going to get the dog clean. It's the shampoo, it's the contact time. Just give it time to work. So rather than scrub, I use my fingers to kind of give them a nice massage and lay the hair down nicely. So by doing that, and I believe it was Mandy. No, Angela Moore. I was going to say Mandy Moore. Mandy Moore. Anyways, Angela Moore, great question. That's how I would go about it, is just constantly reinforce, dry in that direction, spray the water in those directions, and use a comb to comb and spray every day with a conditioner. And then just part, like you would train your hair to part in a certain way, you're training your Shih Tzu's hair to lay nicely, rather than just just trimming it with thinning shears, because that's not gonna actually help train the hair to lay flat. So as it grows, it's always gonna grow like that. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, Kirsty Hutchinson. Kirsty Hutchinson. Wow, thank you. By the way, I absolutely love your down to earthness. Okay, no, I already read that one. Okay, Kirsty Hutchinson. Oh, one more question. How often do you recommend expressing anal glands? Okay, so anal glands, because they're glands, the more often we manually express them, the quicker they tend to fill back up. So let's say a dog's getting groomed every 4 weeks, and we're squeezing the anal glands every 4 weeks, emptying them out. The glands start to fill back up pretty much every 4 weeks. And so if you don't empty them every 4 weeks, you start to smell it. It starts to seep out. That you get full glands. So I recommend. I always check the anal glands, and if they're full, I do empty them out. But if they're not full, and I can feel like, there's something in there, but it's not completely full, I usually let it go. I've been rethinking that these days, though, because the other day I had a golden retriever and had it completely done. And then I smelled some anal glands, and so I was like, oh my goodness. I did check it, and it didn't feel full, so I didn't express it. But then I paid for it at the end. I had to rebathe that back end. I went ahead and just expressed it anyways. I emptied it out because you can smell it now, and rewashed the back and dried it. So yeah, I'm thinking if I feel some anal glands, maybe I'll express it from now on and not let it go. But yeah, I say that if you have a puppy, if you can help it, I say don't manually express it unless it's full, unless it needs some help, because when they go poo, if you watch closely, there's a little liquid drop at the end, so they naturally express their anal glands, especially if they get spooked, they get spooked. Sometimes they squirt some anal gland juice like a skunk. Okay. Let's see here. Oh. Okay. That comment, Alan Val. Okay. Sorry guys, my computer. Mackenzie Timmons. I have an interview to go to for grooming school. I'm doing a Bernese for sanitary trim. Do you recommend just skimming off the hair under legs or do a tight trim? See, I usually get a 10 blade and I do kind of skim and I get it nice and clean. But, I try not to touch the skin. And, don't get me wrong, the 10 blade, sometimes I do touch the skin, like if I'm going under the thighs. But me personally, that area, like the tummy, the thighs, right where the pee-pee is, if it's a girl, if it's a guy, right where that wee-wee is. But I like to have it nice and clean, so, but that's just me. And I guess maybe, ask your instructors, do you want it nice and clean? Do you want it nice and tight? Or do you want me to just, do you prefer it to be skimmed? Let them know you can do it either way. But yeah, the way I like to do it, I like to just kind of skim. But it is tight and nice. It's definitely clean. There's a nice clear area. But I don't go right up against the skin with the 10. Pinkstar 7896. Do you have any tips for scissoring a poodle while doing a town and country? There are always little hairs still coming out. I wish they would stay still in place. So a town and country, if I'm not mistaken, A town and country would be, oh, you know what? I have a poodle book here. So let's see here. Town and country trim, that's what I thought. So a town and country would be like this, right there in the middle. So with town and country trim, if you're noticing that you're getting a lot of hairs like sticking out, you know, and like really, it's just combing. And I actually watched a grooming competition once, and I saw a lady on the side getting ready to show her poodle, and she was just constantly combing, like an OCD person, you know, like just like a crack addict, like just combing constantly. And so I think that's where the secret is with the difference between a really good, like really excellently groomed poodle and one that is just a really good, well-groomed poodle. The difference is in the combing, I believe. Comb that hair out, constantly comb all that dead hair out. And the ones that kind of are like fuzzy and frayed and everything, comb it out. Make sure the comb goes to the coat nicely. Stand it up and then scissor it, and then you'll get that nice, like almost snowball effect. Like catching bushes, kind of. You just kind of trim it nice and round. Okay, so next. Great question though, Pinkstar7896. Joanna and niece. Thank you, June. Love to the family, and Weemy too. Yeah, Weemy got his own little fan club. Thank you, Joanna. Monica Ortega. Thanks, June, for all you do. Since I've been watching your videos, my Bijan hair skin has been so much healthier, and he's been so much exactly. And that's what it's all about. Yesterday we did 2 Cavaliers and a Golden Retriever for one family, and it was so nice leaving to see how comfortable they were, just laying so comfortably and so appreciative too. The way they come up to us and thank us for our efforts. It's just it's so rewarding, and it's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy because easy is not rewarding. It's supposed to be hard. You're supposed to sweat. There's supposed to be some effort and time involved in it. But that's where the reward is. And the way that your dog looks at you, it's indescribable and it's priceless. All right, Pinkstar7896. Me as a dog groomer myself, I always tell my customers, to let a vet do the anal glands due to the fact that you can't see an infected anal gland. And once a coworker did it, and it ruptured. Exactly. And I personally would, rather have a vet do it. But I was grooming a 17-year-old Maltese the other day, and it was a home visit, and she's 17 years old, and she has congestive heart failure. And so, the less stress, the better. And when I went to check her anal glands, they were not only full, they were rock hard. I mean, it was solid, like solid rocks on either side of her bum, when you lift the tail. So I was just like, oh my God, I don't want to risk rupturing it. But then again, I know she's uncomfortable because it's so hard. So I was like, I'm not going to push it, but I'm just going to give it a shot, just to give it an honest shot. And so I just gently lifted the tail and I gently massage, just like this massaging motion here, so I'm just massaging it gently and just kind of getting from, trying to get under it. So you kind of, get under it and massage out, so you're just kind of like milking it almost gently. And then all of a sudden, like, it started to loosen up a little bit, and then like a solid, like poop almost. It was nasty, but solid, like solid massy poop, like thick stuff was coming out, right? And the anal glands like finally emptied out. I could feel it just like boom, like empty out. And all of this like nasty junk, I could feel it on my hands. It was a good thing we were in the bath. And I hope you guys aren't eating lunch. But anyways, and your dinner's now ruined. But like all this nasty stuff came out. And then once it came out, she turned around and she actually had a number 2. She did number 2, and it was like a nice, regular, solid number 2. And they were saying that she didn't go last night, she didn't go this morning, So basically she was constipated. And once I cleared out that the 2 rocks, you know, the anal glands that were just so compacted and full, and once I cleared it out, like she went poo, like immediately, and a bunch of poo came out. And, you know, after that, she was just so comfortable. You could see it in her eyes. Like she literally came up and licked me. You know, I was like, hey, stop that. That's nasty. That was good. But, you know, like you could see how much she appreciated it. So, yeah, I understand, you know, send them to the vet, you know, but if you're there and you have an opportunity to help and you know you can help, you know, why not give it a shot, right? Monica Ortega. I'm still scared to trim his nails. Any suggestions? Monica, I actually just wrote a newsletter, like an email, and I shared it on my Facebook. And it's about kind of getting over the fear. And I also posted a video that I made about 4 years ago about trimming nails. And I used my dog Dexter and Angel at the time to do like a demonstration. So yeah, I mean, I would say practice, you know, just the more you practice it and the more you do it and just you make yourself, you know, just kind of build up the courage. And John Wayne says courage is being scared to death and settling up anyways. And I love that, you know, then that's said in such a way that only John Wayne can say it, you know, but, you know, being scared to death and settling up anyways, that's courage. So have courage for your dog, and, you know, like the more you do it, the better you'll get, and the better you get, the more confident you'll be. So I would say just practice, practice, practice. Practice makes improvements, not perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, and that's perfect. But practice makes improvements. Cat for animals. Did you know that expressing externally can only get out some, which can be helpful? Just FYI, the vet going internally gets all the liquid, supposedly. Yeah, yeah, and so I'm all, you know, I totally agree, Kat. Like I would definitely, and I told the owner what happened, and I was like, next time you're at the vet, maybe have them check out the anal glands, you know, but definitely it did feel good though, and it was definitely a risk, so I'm not going to suggest anyone else do this because it was definitely a risk, and I knew it going in. You know, as I was massaging gently, I was just like almost like cross my toes, you know, had my toes crossed. Like, please don't rupture. Please don't rupture. You know, because even with the best intentions, if you hurt someone's dog and like there's blood and an anal gland is ruptured, you know, even with the best intentions, that's their baby, you know? And so I wouldn't suggest to anybody to do what I do. A lot of stuff that I do, you know, when a dog shakes water off their body, I stick my face in it. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And I'll start shaking the water. That's crazy. So I'm not going to say that, you know, I'm not going to just suggest other people do it. The reason why I do it is because I want the dog to know that this is good. The water being sprayed on us is a good thing, you know, and I want the dog to be convinced of it. And even though the dog may not be convinced of it, the dog is going to be convinced that I like the water being sprayed on me. The dog's going to be like, this is a weird guy, you know, he likes it apparently. So I guess I'll do it, you know. Let's see, Monica Ortega. Oh, the dog, thank you for expressing its glands. Yes, yes. I mean, you can even see, I shared the pictures on Facebook because you can see the smile on her face. She was actually smiling. Like, oh my goodness. Like she was so, and that made me feel so good. Alan Powell. Yeah, I've seen the curds come out from the nasty glands, but thanks for the story. Alan Powell says, yeah, I've seen the curds come out from the nasty glands, but thanks for the story. It ruined my spoon full of Grey Poupon. Oh, man. Let's see. Monica Ortega, I'll find the newsletter. Thank you. Monica, it's on my Facebook page. So if you go to facebook.com /Jun the Groomer, it's the newsletter that says like tips for nail clipping and overcoming fear or something like that. And I share a story in there and, you know, the YouTube video of the nail clipping. Cat for animals. Oh, it helped her. Yes. Cat for animals. Yes, every case is different. Yeah. Cat for animals. Thanks, June. Have fun at SuperZoo. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Oh my goodness. 4 o'clock. thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of Ask Jun the Groomer. Again, next week, I probably won't be, you know, what I might do is if I can, maybe I'll on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Jun the Groomer. I have an option to go live on my phone now. So maybe around 3 o'clock or so, I'll go live during SuperZoo, and just maybe we'll do like a quick Q&A session and things like that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and have a great day. Happy grooming.